And as you can see on your screen, we have visual confirmation of splashdown. Dragon Freedom has returned home, and NASA astronauts.
System safety verifications are in progress. We'll report back when recovery personnel are en route.
So recovery personnel en route. The four who took that ride are now back on Earth, most notably Sonny Williams and Butch Wilmore, who got their extra months in space. But also on board Nick Hague and a Russian traveler as well, the cosmonaut Alexander Gorbanov, all back down on Earth. You know, some of us have been watching splashdowns for 60 plus years now. They're always exciting. They're always make you nervous. You always hope for the best. Sure. And it's a dicey operation, of course. This was the first one I've ever listened to, though, where they used the term splashing down in the Gulf of America.
They said Gulf of America.
Yeah,
that's right.
So that did stand out to me there as well. But those four now back, and now it's a matter of the recovery crews from nearby in Tallahassee, and by getting to those four, getting them out of the capsule and returning them back. They are back on Earth. They are still out in the ocean. They'd probably like to see some land sometime soon.
I felt like you heard a collective, like the globe, just have a sigh of relief that these folks are finally back to Earth. That welcome home probably gave a lot of folks goosebumps as we're watching the safe re-entry of those two astronauts who have been on the ISS for the last 286 days. Welcome home to Sonny Williams and Butch Wilmore.
Of course, we'll be following this throughout the hour as that recovery effort continues. We have transitioned from 3 o'clock at 9 News over to 4 o'clock now, and I've joined now with Alex Lewis. And we want to turn our attention to some of the other news of the day. A well-known immigration advocate now detained by ICE, at least according to the family of Jeanette Vizgara.
Vizgara became known for taking refuge in a church for years to avoid deportation. This happened back in 2017. It created a network of sanctuary churches along the way. Her family says she was detained yesterday in the parking lot of her job and is now being held in Aurora. Protesters started gathering outside of the ICE facility in Aurora about midnight last night to demand her release. Vizgara does have a criminal record, 2 misdemeanor convictions from more than a decade ago. Our Spencer Soysher will have more on this story coming up tonight for you at 5 o'clock.
DNA testing was done to see if the wrong man was convicted in a notorious Denver murder. Well, that DNA test had ended up proving his guilt again. The issue was the use of a now discredited technique comparing hairs found at crime scenes from hairs with suspects. Kevin Vaughn from 9 News Investigates reports.
After 2 men accosted Tom and Christina Haller in July 1993, after they gunned him down and savagely beat her,
but it rocked the city.
Prosecutor Craig Silverman was confident taking Stephen Harrington and Shane Davis to trial.
We put together a great case based on so many different pieces of eyewitness identification, circumstantial evidence.
Evidence including a hair found on a T-shirt near the Haller's car, a hair tied to Stephen Harrington after a microscopic examination.
The examiner can state with a certain degree of probability, high probability or a low probability, whether or not a given hair came from a given source or not.
A jury convicted both Shane Davis and Stephen Harrington. Then in 1999, the FBI concluded hair microscopy was junk science and eventually called for a review of convictions where it was involved. In 2021, the Corey Wise Innocence Project at the University of Colorado began reviewing 51 convictions, including Stephen Harrington's.
This is going to help me.
That's Harrington expressing optimism in this Marshall Project video. But DNA testing on that hair and on that T-shirt did the opposite of setting him free.
That was Harrington's hair. His DNA is all over this crime scene. Why? Because he committed these awful crimes against Tom Haller and against his wife, Christine.
An attorney for the Innocence Project at CU told us today the group believes DNA testing should be a common and uncontroversial protocol in cases like this. He noted that while it can show a person was wrongfully convicted, it can also prove guilt, as it did in this case.
You heard about Harrington. What about Davis's conviction? Was that part of this as well?
It was not part of this because he was not tied to this crime by hair. There was other evidence tying him to this crime. He does have a petition seeking his release, but Craig Silverman, the attorney, noted today that he confessed to him in a written letter in 2018.
This could be the end of all that. All right, Kevin, thanks very much.
Let's turn to the weather here this evening. It's another windy day in Colorado. We had a red flag warning that just expired at the top of this hour, but those winds are still whipping outside our studios on Spear and Logan. So let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Kathy Sabin, who you've been talking this afternoon saying that things are shifting and changing for us.
Yeah, the afternoon runs on this potent but fast-moving storm have caused us to put out a weather impact alert for the evening for the potential for that wind to create areas of blowing snow east and south of Denver. Blizzard conditions are likely later on tonight. We're awaiting a fast-moving but sharp cold front that will bring some brief rain and snow showers to the city. We need that moisture desperately, but it will also bring an increase in the wind. Red flag warnings have canceled for Denver but continue for east central and southeastern Colorado. High wind warnings also in effect. As this system rolls in, we're going to start to see the snow fly, and then we'll see some areas of blowing snow that may close roadways on the eastern plains tonight. While cooler today, temperatures still trending above average, and we're happy to see the snow on the radar in the mountains, waiting to see if that rain and snow will make it here into the metro area over the next couple of hours. We do not have advisories for Denver as of yet, but we do have a winter weather advisory south and east. Castle Rock, Parker out to Byers. Several inches of snow, but gusty winds create blowing snow, and it's wind that could create blizzard conditions from Lyman and points eastward later on tonight. So blizzard warnings for portions of eastern Colorado with a weather impact alert issued due to the wind, the incoming rain, and the snow, and that will impact travel across the city as well. We're going to cover the timing and impact of all of this coming up.
Prosecutors say a bus aide caught on video hitting children with special needs nearly a year ago committed dozens more acts of abuse. This morning, Kiara Jones stood before a judge who will soon decide if the case warrants a trial. 9 News investigative reporter Jeremy Hohola was the only reporter there in court this morning. He's here now with an update on where the criminal case stands. Hi, Jeremy.
Hi there, Alex. This former bus aide, who is now 30 years old, is looking at the prospect of prison time. A warning here, you may remember the video of her hitting a special needs child. Today, it was revealed in court there are dozens of similar incidents captured on video the public has not seen yet. Nearly a year ago, this disturbing video released by the child's family made national news as Kiara Jones was arrested for child abuse. Her criminal case in Arapahoe County continues as the former Littleton bus aide faces 13 charges, most of them felonies for abuse of at-risk children. On Tuesday morning, a judge heard testimony from a detective who said there are more incidents captured on bus video.
There are dozens of videos from dozens of days. The clip that the public has seen is so minuscule.
Brittany Yarborough is the mother of one of the 3 named victims in this case. All the victims are nonverbal, special needs children who couldn't explain to their parents why they were coming home with bruises and cuts for months on end.
This is something we fight every day to avoid triggers that we do know of. We're still figuring out triggers that we don't know yet. I'm not sure this will ever go away.
Jones was terminated from Littleton Public Schools and remains out on bond. Next month, a judge will decide if the case will move towards trial. For now, as the justice system rolls on nearly a year after the arrest, Yarborough said prison time will be necessary. I asked her, how long?
I think when you're asking parents, that answer would be forever and a day.
And Kiara Jones is due back in court on April 14th. Live in the newsroom, Jeremy Hohola, 9 News.
Jeremy, thank you so much. Denver is enjoying the excitement from being awarded a new NWSL team earlier this year. While we still don't know the team's name, we're working on that, we do know where it will eventually call itself home.
Yeah, team ownership as well as the city of Denver announcing a new permanent stadium is going to be built. That's at Santa Fe Yards. That's right near I-25 and Broadway, built to seat 14,500 fans. 9 News sports reporter Ashley Moore has been live at the big announcement in Denver this afternoon, I should say. And Ashley, this is a big investment for the team and the fans.
Absolutely. We're live at the Girls Athletic Leadership School. And can I be the one to say it? It is about time, okay? For a long time, the girls soccer players have been better than the men, and about time Denver gets a soccer team. But what better place to make this announcement than the first ever all-girls public school right here in DPS. Now, this is reportedly one of the largest investments into female sports that a team has ever made at Santa Fe Yards, connecting the east and west sides of Denver. And like you said, this will hold up to almost 15,000 fans. But it won't just be that. An entertainment district, a park for the kids to play. All of this sitting on 14 acres of land. Now, this is expected to open in the spring of 2028, but we're excited. Listen to Rob Cohen as to why they chose Santa Fe Yards.
So we wanted something that was accessible from every quadrant in the city, something that people could easily get to and from. It was a neighborhood and a place where we felt would have a great vibe on game day, but would also be something that we could activate 365 days a year. We wanted something that could be about community building and placemaking. And we really felt like this concept of a stadium in a park is very different than what you traditionally see, which is a stadium surrounded by concrete and asphalt.
Well, we love to see it. Listen, we did ask about the name and the temporary place the fans will play, or the team will play, up until 2028. And owner Rob Cohen said more to come. So that's all we know for now. Sending it back to you, Alex and Tom.
Actually, I will say it looks beautiful. What they've designed and their concept seems great. It always becomes a matter of money and time getting it all together. But what they've put on paper right now looks fantastic.
Oh, yeah, the money is there. From what we're hearing, the money is there. This is one of the largest investments ever into women's sports. And shout out to Denver for being a leader in investing into women's sports.
That's right. Shout out to Denver. We'll take it, Ashley. Thank you so much for the update.